That countdown is like
I know.
my heart was beating. I'm like,
I know the anxiety is real.
What's going to happen when the countdown ends? Is something going to go like, surprise? Awesome. Well, good to see you guys.
Hello.
Danny, Victoria.
Good to see you guys again.
How's everybody been?
Good. Really good.
70 degrees in Georgia, so I'm great.
I'm still full from Thanksgiving. Shocker.
Yeah, for sure. And right when we start talking, my dog, what did she do? Comes right to me, of course. So it's going to be a little terror on this show. With that being said, we are stalling, as you can see. We are stalling because our rock star, Rob Lasa, who is the guest today, is probably with a client selling, and he's running a couple minutes late. So he will be here. We have confirmed. So don't think that he's gonna bail on us. But
it's a good way to start it. If you're not late for a phone call, you're not selling insurance. So
that's why we have him on the show.
and Rob is a superstar insurance, independent insurance agency owner. Do we know the numbers that he's doing every month or every year?
I mean, he's well over 100K in new business production month over month. I can tell you that much. I mean, he's up there. I want to say last month he was north of $150. He's baller.
Yeah,
that's an understatement. Yeah. So I want to say last month he was north of $150. He's baller.
Yeah,
that's an understatement. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, so he should be here soon, guys. I'm getting a couple things. We're having trouble streaming to LinkedIn, and this is from StreamYard, guys. So this is not from us. So if you're hearing this, you're probably not even on LinkedIn. You're on YouTube. I don't even know why I'm saying this, but looks like StreamYard's having some LinkedIn Live issues. So we're actually on LinkedIn Live. So we got approved. And if you guys don't know this, it's pretty tough to get approved. So I don't know what I did or what we did, but they must have liked Danny's beard or something.
It's my beard juju. Makes sense.
Yeah. So, but they are having issues on LinkedIn Live. So I will keep you guys posted on that. But we are live on YouTube. So hopefully everybody's, I see that people are actually watching. So, and again, Rob Loss is going to be the guest today. Little background on Rob, South Florida agent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Definitely a high producer. Has a couple sub producers, I think, right? Mm-hmm. One or two.
Yep. Well, and ultimately, I think that's what we're here to figure out, right?
Yeah.
You know, Rob has been knocking the cover off the ball for years at this point, but we really want to dig deep today and figure out where did he find his success, right? Yeah. Everybody has their own model, right? Some people are lead gen heavy. Some people are referral heavy. Victoria, when you were running your independent, were you a lead gal or were you more of a referral gal?
I started off with the leads, and those leads led me to referrals. And then I realized, the more we grew and had more employees, our employees took over those referrals, and I just went out and started networking, and it was so much fun. I love networking. I'm a talker, so I know all the groups.
But my problem is the level of engagement. I bought leads too. Everybody does, but you spend $150 on cheap leads. You load them into the system. You throw them into a dripper, an SMP campaign, and you let it go. And my brain always said, if I write one policy off of it, okay, it paid for the list, and I win. But I'm like you, referral talk. I mean, my strong suit is engaging people. So I've always found too my engagement resulted in a higher level of engagement on their part as well. You buy a lead, it's almost like you're forcing them to talk to you, right? But a referral, they want to be there. So,
Hey, Rob.
Well, there he is.
He's here.
What up?
Thanks everyone for joining.
Of course, I'm sorry I'm late. I was dealing with a workers' comp audit and obviously driving from meeting to meeting, so you know how it is.
No worries. We understand. That's why we have you on the show, because you're
exactly. Yeah, we were just I'll let you go for it. I'm sorry, Scott.
No. guys, if you're being invited to podcasts and you're on time, you're probably not doing something right in the insurance industry. So,
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but I'm sorry.
no, it's Rob. That's a compliment, man. Like,
Okay,
that's,
thank you.
Yeah.
that's why Rob's here, everybody. So, for those who are watching, if you're new to the insurance business, or maybe you're an agency owner, or maybe you're somebody that's looking to go independent, Rob is the guy. So we have handpicked Rob for this show. And Rob, if I'm going to kick it over to you, if you want to just give us a little bit of a background. We tried to guess around your background before you came on, but just tell us who you are and what you're up to right now.
I'm the crazy guy. I'm
Okay.
I'm the guy that everyone used to say, that dude's crazy, I want to hang with him.
Okay.
And then
There you go.
I got into the professional business, and I tried to use that to my advantage, and so far so good. But yeah, I mean, I'm born and raised in Miami. My parents are Cuban. Went to private school my whole life. I was very sheltered. Went to college, University of Florida. Go Gators. Had a great time. Came back to Miami. I actually worked in the golf industry before insurance, so I was working in golf as a teaching professional, and I worked at a golf school. But then I connected with my future wife, and I realized, man, the things that I want in life, if I'm going to marry this woman, are going to require a lot more money than is provided in the golf industry.
Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah.
How do you make it happen?
Never true words.
And but it was all good because it was the best thing that ever happened to me. A friend of mine who was selling life insurance at the time says, Rob, you would be perfect in insurance. Come with me to this meeting. And so I went to a meeting with him. I thought, hey man, this has great potential. It was actually John Hancock office. So I got my 215, and I literally got my 215 the day before I left to get married.
Wow.
The day before I left to get married, I got my 215 license. And as soon as I came back, I went straight to work.
You didn't sell any life insurance on your honeymoon? What's the problem?
Yeah, like all the things.
I thought you were a baller, bud. Come on.
No. I was building the relationships to sell them life insurance. No, I wasn't taking apps at the altar, bro. No, so anyways, I came back and I actually ended up working at a Northwestern Mutual office, which was like an amazing experience. I got the best training ever. I realized it wasn't for me. I didn't like being tied down to one company, and I really wasn't into their corporate atmosphere. Mm-hmm. So I ended up going to the dark side, which is investment advising, financial services. I call it the dark side. And I worked for an RIA for a year. I got my Series 6, Series 6.3, 6.5. I mean, the works. I did it all. And then after a year, I was like, I really don't like this. And
it's a hard bridge. When I was with State Farm, the FFS or whatever you want to call it, but the financial products, I mean, they just, I know that there's a correlation between the insurance, but it's a tough transition. It's a tough sale. Insurance guys should just stick to insurance.
Yeah. I actually floored my boss at the time, who's now my friend, because I brought in some clients, but it wasn't my thing. I didn't feel comfortable talking about it, and I didn't have interest in continuing to learn. So I told my boss after a year, I'm like, listen, you're paying me, and I feel like I'm not giving you what you're paying me, so I'm just going to go. And I ended up reconnecting with an old friend who owned a Brightway insurance agency, which is a franchise. Mm-hmm. And so that's how I got into PNC. And that was in 2012, I think, 2011, 2012, something like that. And I fell in love. I was like, oh my gosh, this is easy. All I have to do is know people and not mess up the relationship. And it's I can sell all these homeowners policies. It was like an awakening. And that's the first year I started making money, because I did $500,000 in premium my first year, just selling homeowners. And then I was like, man, this is awesome. So then I ended up working for him for 2 years. And then I went to an independent agency for another year and a half. And then I realized, man, I can do this myself. My second kid was being born. And I was like, I want to make more money. So then I decided to just go off on my own. And it was a huge leap of faith. I had to borrow $10,000 to get started, but it was the best decision I ever made because, obviously I'm here now and I live a great life. It's not easy. There's, doing this business can be stressful, but I wouldn't trade it for anything because.
But what business isn't stressful, right? I mean,
Of
every
course.
business is stressful, right?
Yeah.
So, it's the
I
pros
wouldn't
and
trade it for
cons.
anything. But the first and for anybody that's just starting out, that's listening now, if you're on your own, starting your own gig, the first 3 years are hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're gonna get burnt out, and it's okay. But if you don't get burnt out, then you're not doing something right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
Like you have to work your butt off every single day. You have to build those relationships so that when the time does come, you're ready to close the deal. And closing the deal also requires a lot of work. Okay, we got to do quotes, we got to do apps, we got to collect documents, we got to do all this stuff. My first 3 years, I had 2 kids at the time. I was working every day till 2 or 3 in the morning because I did everything on my own. And then I would wake up at 6:30, deal with the kids, take them to school, whatever, and go back at it. And that was every day for like 3 or 4 years. And before that, it was nonstop work, just trying to get people in my Rolodex. So yeah, I mean, it's a process, but it's definitely worth it. There's no better business than what we're in.
So Rob, thank you. By the way, you touched on a lot of good points there. So to recap, you got to be a little crazy, right? What you're doing.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, ADHD, ADHD.
Danny knows.
Right there, man. I can tell you're ADHD. I've never met you, Rob, but I know it. And that's honestly, ADHD make the best salesman.
He knows, man.
The second thing is you can work from your Range Rover, whatever you got there, and build $1 million agency. From what I can see, Rob's chilling in this car right now. But in all realness, you mentioned that you were with Brightway, and then in 2012, and you're working till 2 a.m. Do you think it's possible? And Victoria, you have the next question, by the way. But do you think it's possible for people to not work till 2 a.m.? Because come on, man, nobody wants to hear that. Let's be real. Like, is it easier today with the technology, with platforms? What do you think?
Yes, absolutely. And that's one of the main reasons I joined Renegade, because I was exhausted. To tell you the truth, I was already in my 6th year, and I had 2 assistants, and I had just brought in on another assistant who was helping me with phone calls, and I was exhausted. I was becoming, and this is maybe too much information, but I wasn't happy with the type of father I was becoming, the type of husband I was becoming. I was addicted to the work, and just everything was about work, and I was using work also to not deal with the other daily stresses. And so and finally one day I said, I have to make a change, because this is not what I envisioned 7, 8, 9 years ago. And so that's what I did. I was on the search. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
How has that process changed for you? What's different now? And I'm sorry, I know Victoria, you had next question, but just out of curiosity.
I definitely want to hear it. Yeah.
I mean, like, how has that changed? Because obviously you've evolved, right? Not only as an insurance man, but as a father, as a husband. What have you done, and what has been given to you that's afforded you the ability to make those changes and kind of reestablish yourself as a kind of a different insurance man?
Right. So I mean, I could go on about this for a long time, but the short answer is support and resources. And I make it emotional because of how stressed and anxious I was, and now I'm not. And I'm very grateful for that, because the support and resources that Renegade has provided me has given me the life that I literally I didn't even dream of. You know, that I'm able to do the things I want to do with my kids every day. Do the things that my wife is asking me to do on a daily basis. Not everything, all right? I'm not a perfect husband.
So you don't have an actual honey-do list at home or anything like that?
Oh, man, listen, we share Apple reminders. So every day it's like another one. Bing, bing, bing. So I got to keep up with the honey to-dos. But the best part is that my attitude, because I'm not stressed, because I'm not exhausted, dealing with being overworked, I'm a better person at home, you know, and that you can't put a price on that. And as far as the support and resources, I mean, to be specific, you cannot put a price tag on someone handling back office and doing it well, especially accounting. For all the guys, if guys and girls, if anyone in here has had that experience of running their own and then transferred over, you know what a nightmare insurance accounting can be, especially when you do a lot of agency bill. And that was just, that alone in itself is worth all of it. Not having to deal with that anymore.
Big time.
But the other good thing is that, like, I feel like I'm a part of something greater now, and that the people that are a part of this actually care. It's not like just another number, like, oh, we're just swallowing another agency. No, like Rossick, I've had conversations with him, like, he actually cares. Everybody in the organization is always there, willing to help, and wanting to do something that means something. And that for me means the world.
It's fun to see how everybody engages. That's one of the first things I noticed when I joined the organization as well. Everybody has teams, right? But to see the level of engagement and how positive it was almost shocking. I was used to, any kind of agent forum just being a full-on bitch session, right? Just absolute. How bad can I rag on my company right now? Let's hope they're not listening. And then to see what our chat line, it's totally different. It's kind of like, how can everybody's helping each other in a very natural and organic way, be a better agent. It's crazy.
It's not, that doesn't, as far as I know, it does not exist in the insurance industry anywhere.
Yeah.
What's going on right now within our organization, and the collaboration, the willingness, the support. I mean, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So, Victoria, why don't you have at it before I interrupt you again, huh?
Yeah, listen, these are great questions. Okay. He actually answered one of my questions. You mentioned how you feel so much better now. Like, what specifically is helping you, with this transition? What has made you feel much better? What tools are you using right now to grow your agency that's helped you, be able to spend more time with your family and your children?
Right. So number one is technology. Being able to use the new CRM has helped me to streamline the homeowners and auto quoting and binding process. I mean, it literally takes me 10 seconds to enter a prospect. So if I'm in a hurry and I just want to get someone in the system, so like, because I have a million things going on, it literally takes me 10 seconds just to put the opportunity in there, or the lead. And then, oh, guess what? All I need is a phone, and I can text them a link.
Right.
And life is busy. I mean, how many times does that happen? Like, people are going to call at inopportune times. People call on the weekends. Hey, man, I need a quote. Like, now I'm not like bugging out because I have to like put it into my AMS and then like send them this questionnaire and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now it's like, I just take 10 seconds, I put it in there, click send outreach, boom, done. And it's also helping me keep track of my all my other business, because I do a lot of commercial lines. Which remind me about that later, because I did want to delve into that a little bit for the younger agents. So I do a lot of commercial lines, so it helps me keep track of all the stuff I have in the pipeline in regards to that as well. So
do you think the commercials that really got you up and going? Because a lot of agents, I feel like, especially if they're coming from captive, they want to go into the independent world to start commercial because of that premium.
Well, the other thing is that commercial, I have found, is a lot more consistent. So as long as you maintain the relationship, your retention is way higher, because even your mom and your dad, okay, will get a cheaper homeowner's policy if you can't offer it. Okay?
That is
They're
true.
gonna be like, Rob, sorry, bro. You know, I gotta go with it with State Farm or whatever. You know, like which happens. I mean, luckily, I have a lot more markets now.
Yeah.
So, being in South Florida, I don't know if you guys know, it's an absolute circus when it comes to insurance. So I've actually been, my homeowner sales has gone up like 50 or 60% because of my new markets. But there are those times where I'm sorry, I don't have this market, you know? And you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. Interesting. So with the commercial, I'm just curious. I've always been really curious about the commercial. Like, how are you getting your commercial leads? Like, is it just your personality? I mean, is it relationships you had? Because it's hard getting commercial. I feel like it's hard. I don't know.
Yeah. So I've had this conversation with so many agents over the last 5 years. It's a lot easier to cross sell from commercial to personal than it is from personal to commercial.
Yeah.
So if you sell someone home and auto, it's a lot harder for them to see you insuring their business.
And why do you think that is? But honestly, in 20 years, why is that? Because it's almost like it's a phenomenon, right? I've never understood it. Why is it so hard to transition from home auto into the business, but the reverse? It's so much easier to get into that garage door from a commercial side.
It's because of stereotypes. People look at, you know, the insurance guy that sells home and auto as your you know, as a little chop shop. You know what I mean? They don't look at that person as like an advisor, that someone's going to help them manage the risk for their business.
I mean, they're spending way more money on those policies than a home and auto policy too.
Yeah,
premiums
the average premium is significantly higher. Yeah, definitely, for sure.
Does it scare you at all that you could incur larger losses? Like, do you have a percentage base? Like, I want to be 60% commercial, 40% personal, or reverse that? You know, I was raised in an environment where, you know, personal lines is where you put what you paid your mortgage with and what you put food on the table with. That really good year with the commercials, what you bought your Porsche or your boat with, right?
No, that's a great point, Danny. And I've always been in the 50-50 or 60 commercial, 40 personal space.
That's where I was, 60-40.
And I'm very happy in that space. If I were to err on one side, I would much rather have more commercial than personal, because personal lines in Florida is so inconsistent and so volatile that
I didn't even think about that. Sure.
You know, which is the reason I saw the writing on the wall like maybe 7 or 8 years ago when I was working at Brightway. I was like, you know, this homeowners industry is great and I can make money, but these companies, every month there's a change, or someone's leaving, someone's coming in, or all of a sudden this company decides to non-renew, you know, 20,000 policies, and you're just like, what the heck? You know? And so I wanted to manage that risk from a personal standpoint. Like, you know, how can I keep my business afloat if something bad does happen in the personal lines market? And so I jumped into commercial back then, which is why I went to work at the independent agency after Brightway. That's where I got my training in commercial, because Brightway was only doing personal lines. I got my training at that independent agency, and that's where I really learned how to sell commercial lines. And you know, as long as you do your homework, it's not as hard as people say it is. I know a lot of people are afraid to get into it, in fact terrified, but take the steps, just like the steps you took to get your license. You know, take the steps, just learn a little bit, and I promise you, commercial will open up a whole new avenue for everybody. And it'll give you a whole new revenue stream.
It's much more fun too. Not only are you learning about, because you're learning about a business, right? If you're getting a complex risk, you've got to get deep into their financials, find out how it's happening, right? You've got to get into every little teeny beat of their business and find out everything that they're doing. So I feel like, you know, being an insurance agent, you have an opportunity to learn about so much different type of business. But that's why commercial for me, I always liked it, was it broke up the monotony of, your driver's license number, date of birth,
Mhm.
500,
Tell me about it.
collision. You know? Like,
And
my
then-
God.
The other cool thing is
Flashbacks.
like when you start doing commercial, and then you get to the point where you start going to the businesses that you insure, like, you know, when you let's say you insure a restaurant, and like, you know, you go there with your family, and you're like, man, I insure this place, you know. But then you start looking at, like, you know, things in the restaurant, and you're like, oh, I gotta tell them about this. That's a risk. But those are cool things too. You know, when you start insuring places in your area, in your neighborhood or whatever, and you're like, you get to be a part of the community, man, and you're like, wow, I'm doing something here.
Good point.
So that is really cool as well.
No, it's important. Now, the commercial side, Rai Rai Ramen, one of my clients, loved them. Best ramen in Jersey, as far as I'm concerned. And before I wrote him, I ate there once a week at least. And it got to the point where finally he was like, "Hey, fat boy, what are you doing here all the time? You know, you couldn't."
That's how I get like 25% of my customers.
Slice of
I
pizza.
get from being like going to the restaurant or being in their business and just talking with them.
Never eat a slice of pizza in the same place twice, man. Go
man.
eat everybody's slice, and then when we go back for the second slice, bring a quote.
You'd be surprised, man. The some of the commercial accounts I've gotten that just from talking to them, you know, without psyching yourself out, like thinking, oh, I can't talk to this person, you know, they're too important or whatever. No, have a conversation.
Yep.
If they turn out to be a jerk, oh well.
That's it.
You know what I mean? Have a conversation.
No, that's it. That was it. By eating ramen once a week, I end up all three of their ramen restaurants, you know, two in Jersey, one in Philly. It's three brothers that run it. So I have three homeowners, all their auto, you know, so one teeny little strip mall ramen joint that I couldn't get enough of turned into, you know, $40,000 in premium like that, you know, just by, like you're saying, being part of your community. So, yeah.
Looks like we got a question. There's a question up here. Where did the first leads come from? Working until 2 a.m. Bye with that.
Yeah, so I mean, I obviously went at it the organic way, and I didn't have help, so that's why I was working till 2 a.m. But if you're a part of Renegade, you really don't have to do that. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. What were we talking about? What was the question? The leads.
Just generally talking about how you're drumming it up.
Yeah.
Right. I started with my family. I have a huge family. When I started selling life insurance, I just approached all my family, and then they referred me to their friends, and their friends referred me to their friends. But I was super organized, and I made a huge effort to keep in touch with people. Even if it was like a very brief conversation that I had with the person, I would always 3 months later, 4 months later, hey, how you doing? What's going on? You know, and then a year later, touch base with them again. Hey, how's it going? Whatever it is. That's why having a CRM is so important, because by the time you know it, you're like over 1,000 people you've met, and you're like, when did I talk to them? Like, what did we talk about?
No,
you have to keep track of all this stuff. I used index cards, but this was 10 years ago. So,
wow.
But we don't have to worry about that now because we have technology.
Rob, I pulled out when I first opened up my independent. I pulled up my original book the other day out of the basement. That my first 2 months before I really kind of got established and understood the process. It was just funny, just pages of handwritten. You know, Bob Smith, kind of a jerk, but you know what? He owns three houses, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. You know.
3 houses and a boat.
You'll be all you want, brother.
Yeah.
Your money's green, right?
Exactly. It's true.
So it just started with family and friends. I know people that have been very successful doing cold calling. I never liked doing that. I always liked just going up to people, you know, that I've met and asking them for referrals. But now that I think of it,
have you used our Pathfinder in person?
No, I used to for many years, but now it's just gotten so busy that we do everything remotely. But going back to the cold calling, having conversations with people is a form of doing that. So I have done that. I don't want to mislead you on that. But what I meant by cold calling before was like picking up a phone and just calling people.
Mm-hmm.
I never had to do that, fortunately, because I just maintain relationships really well. That's one of the gifts I have, just keeping in touch with people, and obviously trying not to be a jerk.
Well, I
I'm
think
sure that works too.
you're smart though, Rob, because if you think about it, in terms of where the curve is right now, people are not. We lost Rob, unfortunately. But what I was just going to say was, people, unfortunately, right now are stuck inside of that that curve, and that
I got
kind
kicked
of,
off for some reason.
There
I'm
you go.
sorry. Okay.
No, you're good. I was just saying how, from a lead standpoint and a cold calling standpoint, we're not there anymore as an industry. It's a lot like walk-in traffic. That cold call opportunity really isn't even an opportunity. Just because I can pick up a phone and I can dial a number that I bought a lead list, that from a lead list that I bought, that doesn't necessarily make sense anymore, right? Where I know it's a necessary part of certain circumstances. It's just like, again, walk-in traffic. It's not there anymore. So where are we? And what are we doing now to drum up the business now that that's not viable anymore?
If I was just starting out, I mean, I would obviously, you always go to your friends and family. I mean, that's a great place to start. But use social media, guys. The times are changing fast, man. Take advantage of social media. Get out there and market yourself. Build yourself a brand on social media, and do some marketing that way.
And be consistent with it,
that's
right?
The future. Be consistent, yes. You have to have content. You have to have content regularly.
It can't be once a week. It's got to be once a day that you're dropping a note in your Facebook, and then another note in LinkedIn, another note here, right?
Right. Just consider it's part of your job. Hey, instead of just picking up a phone and blind calling, like, this is a new way to do business. And it's fun. All right. I mean, how awesome is that? Like, I get to go on social media, market myself, brand myself, and I'm gonna make money. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
I have a question for a new person starting off. So social media is a great tool, but what is something that they shouldn't do? What's a mistake you've made that you wish you've never done before?
Oh, that's a great question. I wish I would have asked for help earlier.
Yeah.
That's the big one.
That's good. That's good.
I wish I would have asked for help earlier. I had a lot of pride and ego of like wanting to like do this on my own, and it's my brand. And then I didn't realize I was hurting myself. And in fact, I probably would have been making a lot more money if I asked for help earlier. To tell you the truth, I don't know if that's too honest, but
no, that's awesome.
It's reality.
Yeah.
Hey, Rob. It looks like Danny Lou 12 posted. Rob's IG is hilarious, and this goes back to Ito. He talked about he's always posting memes. So what is it about your Instagram? What are you doing?
I post crazy insurance memes. Like you just have to check it out. I do a lot of funny stuff. Like I have one with the world's most interesting man, but it has my face on it, and it says as if.
Breaking up.
And we lost you a little bit.
Say that again, Rob.
We lost it. That was going to be good too.
I'm like, what is this social media? I'm going to look it up now.
I was totally waiting for something good there.
He'll be back on, but I'll post his Instagram, guys. Here he is.
Sorry, guys.
You're back.
Sorry.
You're killing us here. We were all waiting for the punchline there. Come on.
No, it's the world's most interesting man. He says, when I buy, I don't usually buy life insurance, but when I do, I buy from Rob.
Hey, Rob, what's your Instagram handle?
Lasa Links.
Lasa Links. There you go, guys.
You might get a bunch of new followers.
Is that it right there, Rob?
That's it, man.
All right, guys. So go right now and follow and drop Rob a DM. There you go.
Buy some insurance while you're at it.
Yeah, buy some insurance while you're at it.
Yeah,
maybe get some coaching
buy some insurance from me.
There you go. Another way to get leads. Hop on a podcast.
Works.
And you guys, you can reach out to me on Lasa Links. I mean, reach out to me on Teams. If you're not a part of Renegade, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, anywhere. I love just chatting and hanging out. So appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So normally at this point, I would open it up to the chat room. So we have a chat room that's been interacting. If you haven't noticed, Rob, you got some fans in here. If anybody has any questions, we'll leave the next couple of minutes for a question or two. But in the meantime, Rob, your closing statements, anything that you want to share with the group, anything at all, the floor is yours for the next minute.
Yeah, guys, ask yourselves what you want. What do you want in life? Because if you're just doing something to make money, it's great. And I'm not gonna lie, I do what I do to make money too. But I had to ask myself what I wanted in life and what do I need to do to make that possible. So for those of you who are starting out, ask yourself these questions. What do I want? How am I going to accomplish that? Like, really think about these things, because I had to calculate, I mean, to the hour when I first started, like what I had to do to get to where I wanted to be. And I'm so grateful because now I'm literally living the life because of asking myself those questions 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And actually doing the work to get to where I'm at today. So do it.
There's a question right there. What is your best lead source? I know you kind of touched on this a little bit, but what would you say your best lead source?
So I have two very good lead sources. One is mortgage brokers. And the second is I found an interesting way to get easy clients. And that is I approached agents that work for large firms that only do 100K premium and up and told them anything that's 100K less, send it to me. I'll take care of you. I'll take care of your client. Boom. So literally the stuff that I love is the stuff that they don't want.
Yeah.
and
that's for commercial? Is that for commercial accounts that you do that with? Okay.
The commercial and it could be high net worth personal lines too. I mean, these people are dealing with $1 million accounts. So they're dealing with rich people.
Yeah.
So they say, Rob, I can't do this. My firm doesn't let me or whatever. It's a $50,000 account. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. All day. So that's a unique way as well. You'd be surprised how much business you can get from other agents out there that are older and don't feel like working anymore as much. Maybe they have a niche and they'll refer you everything else. Like, get out there, talk to people.
No, don't be shy.
Don't be shy. Danny, Victoria, any closing remarks here? And Rob, thank you so much, by the way.
Yeah, this was good.
It's my pleasure, guys.
Yeah,
it's an honor. Thank you.
Yeah, nice to meet you in person, sort of.
I know. I hear so much about you. So
what we're gonna do too, guys, is we're gonna actually post 1-minute clips of, and I've marked a couple good ones of what Rob has said to recap this podcast that has been about 40 minutes. So I'm gonna get about 4 or 5 1-minute clips, and Rob's gone again. He's just in and out, and we're actually going to post these to social media. So you guys, if you didn't watch the show, you can see real quickly what Rob talked about. Our next show is going to be December 16th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're actually going to have a pretty cool show. What are we going to talk about, guys?
A little bit of marketing, Victoria.
Yes. The most important part of any business.
I would say the hardest part.
How to get the money.
In the IA channel, the hardest thing that we do as agents is find that business. So, yeah, that'll be next week. It'll be a good one. Or next 2 weeks, anyway.
2 weeks from now, yeah. So tune in with your calendars. Please go to the YouTube channel and subscribe. So if you haven't already done it, I wanted to say this in the beginning of the show again. We have, I think, about 100 subscribers, and we just started the show, guys. So kudos to Danny's beard again for getting the 100 subscribers, and Victoria's hair, by the way. She has the best hair ever. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the show, and Victoria, Danny, you guys rocked, and Rob, he's gone, but
he was awesome.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
It was good. Good information.
See everybody in 2 weeks.
All right.
All right, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Later.
See ya.
Shaka.